Scrappy friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm working with the June release from Citrus Twist Kits. This is called Life in Motion, and it is a beautiful kit. Lots of light and summery plant type icons. Just really pretty. I loved the garden style paper that is actually hidden by this green rainbow paper. It has a lot of garden gloves and watering cans and things like that, and it really reminded me of how we had just planted our vegetable garden. So that's what I'm documenting today. Now the first thing I do is I always punch my holes in my pages. I have in the past accidentally put something over where the hole's going to be and it's kind of messed up my design. So I have learned the hard way to punch my holes. Now this is going to be a Life Crafted size, which is going to be 5 inches wide by 8.25 tall. Off camera, I have trimmed up my pictures and cut these strips of paper. I cut approximately 1.5 inch width of this garden paper, and then I cut a 1/2 to 1 inch of the more green rainbow paper. Now, if you are purchasing or looking at the digital kit, this rainbow paper is actually more of a light blue. I wanted to pull in the green more from my pictures and the plants in the garden boxes. There's also green in the decorative paper, and so I used the color in the decorative paper in the leaves or in the watering can, and in Photoshop I recolored the blue paper to a green so it matches my pictures better. And that's one of the great things about digital products is you can adjust them any way you need to um, to um, tell your story or to accent your pictures. So what I'm thinking of doing here is I'm going to use the lowercase Sadie alphabet stamp, which is in the shop, to make my title. And so I was just kind of motioning about how much space I might need for my title. Before I do that, though, I am distressing the edges of my strips of paper. This entire spread is going to have a little bit of either a distressed or a little bit of a wonky alignment. I just felt with the garden theme, anything in nature is not perfectly symmetrical. There's always just natural imperfections. And I wanted to sort of bring that feel to my page. So I distressed the edges of my pattern paper. And here what I'm doing is I noticed I hadn't aligned the two papers evenly, and it was kind of bugging me. So I pulled it up and then retaped it down. And now I'm just going to adhere it to my background paper. So what I was saying is that you'll notice as I go through this spread that I don't put my pictures at like a straight angle. There's a little bit of off skew to them. There was distressing on the edge of the paper. And then later when I get to stamping my title, I'll also do a little bit of a skew on the letters rather than making a straight line for the title. So now on this picture, let's see. Oh yes, now I'm going to the title. So first I pull out my MISTI because I'm stamping right onto my layout, and that sometimes makes me nervous. I love stamping, but I can often make mistakes or not get a great impression. First, what I'm doing is laying out the letters to make sure it fits in the space that I have. And my title is going to be Garden Delights. It was just kind of a fun day being out with part of the family and getting the garden box ready. So I am laying out as much of the stamps that I have. Some of the letters overlap in the different words. And initially I'm realizing, although it's going to fit, it looked like I was barely going to have enough room for the word delights. So what I did is I left my paper on my MISTI just as kind of a base, and to use the cushion that's in the bottom um, of the MISTI. But I get out my acrylic block, my stamp block, and I'm stamping the title so I can put the letters a little closer together. What I had forgotten and didn't realize when I had laid out the letters on the acrylic pieces is that the stamps are a little bit wider because of some extra acrylic on the edges. And so I actually ended up having plenty of room. But it might look odd that I'm using a MISTI just to hold my paper, but using an acrylic block. And I think that's fine because this way I can put the letters exactly where I want. I can put them back on my carrier sheet, and I still got a great impression. So you can see how I made the title just a little bit wonky, and I just like that feeling with this kind of outdoor nature layout. So what I had done is gone into my stash and found these white flowers with green outlines, and they were just perfect for the theme of this layout. So I will be putting those in my embellishment clusters. I also printed off the cut apart element sheet, and I have trimmed out the phrase banner that says "in the garden." I manually fussy cut that out, and then I'm also cut out these plant tags. I'm not sure if they have a different name, but they're usually the markers that you put in with your plants or your vegetables to mark what they are. So those came on the cut apart sheet, and I printed those out, fussy cut them out. And what I'm going to do is pull out another stamp that is in stock in the store. It's called All the Things, and it's just a word phrase stamp with a lot of different small phrases. And I am looking to see what phrases fit my theme, but also will fit inside the small plant markers. I thought it would be a really cute idea to stamp out these phrases as sort of, they're not really subtitles, but they're just added words to tell my story. This one says beautiful things. And the one that I end up putting down at the bottom, I believe, says weekend, and it goes over the word phrase that says in the garden. So I thought that worked really well together. And then on the left side, I am going to use the word family. So I thought those were perfect. I am using a Catherine Pooler ink here, and it is a dark brown. I wanted to pull in some of the brown from the dirt in the pictures, and I also didn't want to use just a stark black. I really thought the dark brown really worked with the colors in the spread much better than a stark black would. That also is the same color that I used for the title, the Garden Delights title. So I am continuing just to find the word phrases that I had mentioned before. I'm finishing up stamping the markers. Down at the bottom, I have, also from the cut apart sheet, a little journaling block. It's white with a little kind of pink peach heart and the green border, and I'll use that for my journaling. I don't really have a lot of journaling, just the fact that it was fun to be outside and planting these plants. So in addition to having those white flowers in my clusters, I'm putting the plant markers, and I am a little bit later going to embellish with some enamel dots. I wanted something up by my title. It looked a little bare. I found this fabric piece in my stash. It's also from Citrus Twist Kits, but I don't believe it's still in the shop. Just says today, but it's the perfect peachy color that is in the garden gloves on the paper, so it works great. I was debating putting some puffy hearts, but ended up not doing that, and instead I'm going to use enamel dots. I have my stash of different colors of enamel dots from Citrus Twist, and I am mixing and matching from the different sets to pull in the colors from my spread. I'm primarily going to focus on 2 shades of green, and then I was debating between brown, or I really wanted the peach color, and I end up going with more of an orange. It's a little bit different than the peach, but I still think it works well, and it brightens up the little clusters with some color. So that is wrapping up my spread. If you have any questions or comments about how this came together, please leave me a comment below. If you would like to pick up any of these items in the Citrus Twist shop, I will have a link to the store below. And these were the Life in Motion digital papers, as well as the Sadie lowercase alpha, and the what was the All the Things phrase stamp. So thank you for checking out my channel. I hope you like this spread and have a great crafty day.